What up, nerds, and welcome to another thankful episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name is Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode 450, recorded on Monday, November 20th, 2023. Tonight we're talking about the latest and greatest from your boy Eli Roth. The movie is Thanksgiving. Before we get into it, let me introduce everyone else on the show. First up, calling in from the same damn table I am, you got your boy Randeezy. What's up?
And much on some grinding!
How we holding up there, Bob? You're a married boy now, I heard.
You know, that's the word on the street. That's what I heard.
You know, I don't want to be talking out of turn, but I know exactly what happened on your wedding night.
Oh my God, I bet it was super sexual.
It was hypersexual.
Crazy.
It was an act of pure indulgence by us sitting together and watching Bigfoot Monster Mystery with Henry Franzoni by the magnanimous John Waters.
Did you hear crazy noises like this? He's
got a husband bulge.
Yeah, he has a husband bulge.
Bigfoot always has a husband bulge. Gracious. Last but not least, also calling in from the same damn table, you got your boy Soju. What's up?
Oh, what up? It's your boy Cranberry Stains. Thankful for a delicious Thanksgiving meal that's headed our way and a nice, smooth wedding weekend.
There'll be food and drink and ghosts.
And ghosts.
Thanksgiving, that's what it's all about. The ghosts, really.
Yep. Remembering the ghost of the Thanksgiving.
The ghost of Thanksgiving past. That's a ghost I don't want to come around too often.
Thanksgiving future. Hallelujah. Yeah, we're talking about a proper Thanksgiving horror movie, which is super rare because there's only a handful in existence. So thank you, Eli Roth. Let's all just be very thankful.
Let's be thankful for Eli, the savior of Thanksgiving.
He's really bringing the heat this year. You know?
Saved the holiday single-handedly. Thank you. Before we get into the review, let's tackle a little bit of housekeeping real quick. Here's another reminder. We do have our December poll currently posted on our Patreon website. If you support us at the $5 level or above, you get the chance to vote on a movie we're talking about this December. The theme for December is merriment and murder, and the three movies you're voting between are Yule Log, Silent Night, and Christmas, Bloody Christmas.
Bob, I want to know exactly what those numbers look like.
Well, I don't know if I can answer it exactly, but Yule Log is definitely still in first place with like 40-ish% of the vote. Christmas, Bloody Christmas has like 30. And Silent Night, nobody really gives a shit about, apparently. So
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
you still got time to vote. Make sure you get those votes in before the end of the month, and we'll see what movie we're talking about this December. In other Patreon news, we're dropping a brand new mini cast this Friday, on Black Friday, that is. Your boy Bob is going to be talking about When Evil Lurks, which just hit Shudder.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a brutal movie.
Dude,
Yeah?
it's so brutal you couldn't even say brutal. That's
Yeah.
how brutal it
That's
was.
a brutal movie. Got a little nog caught in my throat. That's all, you know. This is the season, boys.
This man started his day with Nog and is on his second glass.
So plump, so right.
So strong. I'm getting fucked up, boys.
The
It's that
goddamn
Southern Comfort.
non-alcoholic Southern Comfort eggnog. How does that exist? I still don't know.
Dude, I don't know.
I was robbed.
Bob was very upset
I
that he
am.
misunderstood the labeling of this bottle of
I may
Nog.
never recover.
He's got the alcohol to put in it, too.
Yeah.
It's not like...
Yeah, but it's the point, you know.
Oh, no, not again.
The principle. I see Southern
False.
Comfort. I want to get fucked up.
False advertisement. I can't believe it.
Fucking idiot.
Fucking idiot. So yeah, When Evil Lurks dropping this Friday. Check it out over on our Patreon website. That's all I got for Patreon. Do you guys have anything you want to plug?
Yeah, so coming up on our website, I'm still putting that website to good use. You know, I'm going to be coming out with something that's going to be coming out before the first, so before the next episode drops. But if you want to follow along, it's going to be recommending some quality Christmas horror films, 25. So if you want to do one, you know, every day leading up to Christmas, I picked some quality films and a pretty broad spectrum of like different kind of subgenres and stuff, but I try to pick the good ones, not just the bottom of the barrel just because it's Christmas. But yeah, so keep an eye out on that. And we'll also be posting all of our previous Christmas episodes up on our Instagram like we did for Halloween. So if you want to do a refresher on the holiday stuff from Straight Chillin', we'll have that available for you too.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what a boy likes.
That's what a boy likes. Juice is going to be writing articles about Silent Night, Deadly Night 1, Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, Silent Night, Deadly Night
Full
3,
essay length reviews.
4.
But no, I mean, I think even coming into this, I thought, I think everyone thinks there's not a whole lot of quality Christmas horror films, but when I really started kind of listing them out,
You realize that's correct.
no, it was pretty, honestly, it wasn't too bad to come up with 25, and it might have spilled over, might have to grow the list next year. We'll see.
Oh,
Now, Juice is right on this
Lord.
one. There's a lot of good Christmas horror. It's just swamped by the bad, because as in any subgenre, there's way more bad than good.
Yeah.
You got to go digging.
Yeah, you do.
Sweet deal. Well, keep your eyes peeled for that over on our website, and I believe our house is clean.
This house is clean. This house is clean.
All right, let's get into the main event. We're talking about Thanksgiving, and we're kicking it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
Bob,
Hey.
this box doesn't exist. Will you be pre-ordering it as soon as possible?
I did this morning.
You did.
Well,
I'm like a little hoarse because we've been yelling at your wedding for
Dude,
like the
did.
past 3 days.
69 dudes!
I just realized, I was like, why can't I speak? Oh shit, yeah.
because we were yelling in a
Talking
big room.
over
Yeah.
music.
And hundreds of people. I've never
Yeah.
spoken so much in my life.
Yeah,
That is true. I believe that.
this man was being pulled in every direction, and he is not the talker.
I just spoke for 8 straight hours yesterday. It was insane.
Nobody's listening.
Sorry, Bob's off the market, ladies, if that wasn't clear.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Maybe
yeah,
polyamory. We'll see where it goes.
I'm a Mormon. So yeah, you can pre-order this Blu-ray if you would like to do that. Thanksgiving, brand new movie, just came out this past week. Rated R with a runtime of 1 hour and 46 minutes. This was written and directed by Eli Roth. Co-writer Jeff Rendell on this, starring Patrick Dempsey, Ty Olson, Gina Gershon, Lynn Griffin, Rick Hoffman, Derek McGrath, some other folks. I did not recognize many people in this movie. Plot synopsis brought to you by IMDb is as follows. After a Black Friday riot ends in tragedy, a mysterious Thanksgiving-inspired killer terrorizes Plymouth, Massachusetts, the birthplace of the infamous holiday. Gentlemen, would you recommend people check this out? Randeezy, why don't you kick us off?
Yes, I would recommend this movie. This, like you said earlier, I think there's a glut of Christmas movies, good, bad, and otherwise, but there's not that many Thanksgiving films. It's fertile territory for something new, and this movie does hit on those notes. So I would recommend it if you're looking for something spooky for the holiday. Get in there.
In the theater?
I would say in the theater. Yeah, sure.
Juice, what about you?
Yeah, I completely agree. It's fun to have some festive horror coming up for the season. And yeah, we just watch Blood Rage over and over and over every year, which is fine. Still going to do that. But yeah, I think this hits all the beats it needs to hit. It's fun. It's got some brutality, fun kills that are specific to Thanksgiving. So yeah, I think it's a fun theater watch as well. We had fun in the theater. So yeah. Bob, how about you? You pre-ordered it. You must think highly of it.
That must think highly of
Not
it.
necessarily. Let's not get too crazy. Yeah, I mean, I echo those sentiments as well. It was a lot of fun. It really delivers on all the Thanksgiving kills and jokes. I think they really get a lot out of the idea of a Thanksgiving slasher movie. And it was super fun to watch with you guys. And there was one gentleman in our theater that could not stop from laughing.
That did help the situation.
Just ramped himself up and just kept right on.
It's a funky little tomato.
It was awesome. So yeah, check it out and let us know what you think. We are going to spoil the shit out of this movie, and here comes your warning.
Spoiler warning.
Bob, I'm curious. Did you make a plot synopsis for this?
I did.
Okay. Let's hear it.
I wrote it this morning. Here we go.
With your morning nog?
A non-alcoholic nog.
Damn, we are not letting that one go.
I won't do it. In the year 2022, Plymouth, Massachusetts, a large crowd gathers outside a Riot Mart store in preparation for Black Friday sales. Jessica's father, who owns the store, she ends up letting several of her friends inside early. The crowd is then taunted by them, resulting in a stampede that kills several folks inside the store, including Amanda Collins, the wife of the store manager. 1 year later, Riot Mart prepares for yet another sale, despite several protests. A woman working at a diner is then soon killed by a man wearing a John Carver mask. The police find she was present during the stampede the prior year, leading them to believe this killer might be targeting those who participated. Meanwhile, Jessica and her friends are all tagged on a mysterious Instagram post. It's a picture of a Thanksgiving table with their names on little cards at all the seats. Jessica's old boyfriend, Bobby, then returns to Plymouth after having his wrist broken during the riot. Her new boyfriend, Ryan, doesn't like them talking too much. Jessica manages to get security footage from the night of the riot and gives it to Sheriff Newland. Carver then claims more victims, including the security guard, Manny, and a couple students named Amy and Lonnie. Evan and Gabby are then abducted by John Carver, and Yulia's father is kind of scared, decides they're going to up and move to Florida. Carver kills the hired security guards at Yulia's house and then disembowels Yulia before they can end up leaving. The police use the Riot family as bait in a Thanksgiving parade, but Carver wears a clown mask and decapitates a turkey mascot before throwing several smoke bombs and abducting the Riots and Scuba. John Carver then cooks Jessica's stepmother as a turkey and serves it to all of his guests during
So right.
It is plump. I don't know if it's right. During a horrific live stream, he then bashes Evan's head in. Jessica manages to escape, and she runs to the parade float warehouse where she finds the sheriff knocked out and sees Bobby wearing a John Carver mask runs inside. The sheriff tries to capture him, but apparently he has escaped. Jessica realizes the same brambles that stuck to her pants are stuck to the sheriff's shoes, leading her to believe that he is the man that chased her through the woods. He then reveals he was having an affair with Amanda, who was pregnant with his child when she died the previous year during the riot. And that is his motivation for all these killings. Jessica then reveals she has live-streamed this whole confession to the internet. Bobby then intervenes, saving her life. And the two try to escape in a truck, but Newland has hooked it to a support beam, so they can't drive away. Jessica then shoots a giant parade float with a musket, causing an explosion that engulfs the sheriff's body. And he is taken away. Her boyfriend is taken away in an ambulance, and Jessica reunites with Gabby, Ryan, and Scuba. The authorities end up not being able to find Sheriff Newland's body, but believe it to be incinerated in the blast. Of course it was, right? Roll them credits. There you go.
Thanksgiving 2 on the way, boys.
I'm sure.
Well, you know what?
That's fine.
Fair enough.
That is fine.
Fair enough.
They're gonna. I'm never gonna speak too highly about the idea of another sequel. But,
Sure.
You know, if
Randy.
they're gonna do it, that's fine. I guess.
I'm still waiting on Blood Rage 2.
I just. Well, I mean,
Aren't we all?
keep that flame alive, my guy. But yeah, for this one, I much more like the contained films, and this one does that well enough on its own. I don't think they needed to add a very explicit look out for the next one at the end of this, but whatever.
I'm down for it. This movie is like super silly, and it had a lot of jokes, and it had a lot of kills, and like if they're just able to keep that up, that's enough, I think.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm pretty impressed because Eli Roth, I mean, none of us here are big Eli Roth kind
You're
of
not a Roth
guys.
head?
No.
A Rothy?
But even Bob kind of actively hates him most of the time. But which, is fair enough. But I feel like he really nailed the assignment. It's like perfectly self-aware, but it still has the stakes. He adds in the kind of Scream aspect of a whodunit. He's obviously referencing a bunch of other holiday-themed horror movies, but in a kind of jest, not in a overly nerdy kind of way where people are looking out for us. It's just, kind of baked in, and it's fun, and the kills are solid. There was maybe one or two that were a little too shticky, about the making it Thanksgiving themed, but for the most part it was kind of the perfect blend for me.
I kind of I hadn't seen the original Thanksgiving trailer from Grindhouse until this morning, like right before we recorded, and I'm glad that I did not rewatch that before watching the movie, honestly, because if I had, I might have been a little disappointed, to be honest, because I kind of like that felt more Grindhousey. I liked the aesthetic of that maybe a little bit better. It's cool where they went with it, and it's fine. It's just a totally different thing to me, and they definitely tamed things down, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. But a lot of those kills are in here redone, so they did make good on like using that trailer, not the footage so much, but those trailer ideas a little bit. But I kind of like the shtickiness, like the corn holders in the ears and stuff, like. Give me that. Like if you're going for silly, let's go for silly. I can enjoy the Screamish whodunit of this one. I don't know that I want to see a bunch of sequels where that's the thing they do every time. I would rather see more style pastiche like we saw in the trailer probably. But we're not here to talk about future installments. We're here to talk about this one. And for this one, I think you're right. Like, it was a pretty good blend for what it was. It was a little surprising that it didn't go full bore into silliness some of the time, but it did others. But somehow it evened out in the end. I don't know how to really explain that.
I want to touch on the stylistic change a little bit that you guys are bringing up. Because, the original Grindhouse trailer has that, like, really distinct, like, nasty, dirty feel to it. And it even gets, like really, really gross in the end, which we don't really have to get
we
into.
we don't have to have a man fuck a turkey.
He cleans up the style, and it's a little more like sleek and modern looking. And when I first saw the trailer for the movie, I was disappointed because I really wanted that like nasty Grindhouse style. At the end of the day, seeing it the whole movie now, I'm down with it. I think it's totally fine. And Eli Roth is a bit of trivia. Eli Roth did kind of touch on that in an interview. When they sat down to make this movie, they said, let's pretend Thanksgiving was a movie from 1980 that was so offensive that every print was destroyed. All the scripts were burned. The director disappeared. The crew members changed their names. One person saved the trailer and uploaded it to the darkest corners of 4chan, and now it's made it out. So this is a 2023 reboot. Once they kind of decided that's the route they wanted to take, it kind of opened it up, I guess.
Wait, so this is the result of that thinking?
Yeah, that's kind of how they approach writing this movie.
I don't see that.
Yeah.
That doesn't track for what we got. I don't think this seems more like
they don't ever
do
talk
Scream
about
on Thanksgiving
in the movie. Yeah.
No, but I mean, like, stylistically, I think the original trailer was more that than this is.
Yeah,
like this doesn't seem like it was made in the 80s in any way.
No. This is not supposed to be made in the 80s. In any way.
So this is the original thinking for the original trailer or the original script.
He is saying Eli Roth sat down and said, the trailer that I made for Grindhouse, that is
was
from a movie from the 80s. That's so offensive.
So it is the original trailer.
It was
that was
destroyed, but the trailer existed, and today, 2022, was uploaded to the internet, and now Eli Roth is making the film inspired by that whole situation.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine.
Nailed it. You got it, Juice.
Yeah.
Right. No, I was not getting that. So yeah, the original definitely, like that original trailer definitely hits the 80s thing. I just kind of want to see the 80s version of this movie, to be honest. Some of it.
Yeah, I get it. I feel like, I don't know. I'm happy with this because, like I said, it still blends, not the dirtiness of it, but it still blends the somewhat campiness of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't go. I feel if you went that style, obviously in the trailer, it's trying to mimic those really, really low budget where people can't act well.
You're right.
So then it would be very, very try hard campy, and to have a whole movie of that and pull it off, it can be tricky.
Yeah.
And if you don't do it right, it could be very tiring. And it's like it works for a 1 minute trailer.
Yeah.
But to make a 90-minute film out of that to go watch in the theaters,
I agree. I'd rather have what we got. I think the 80s nostalgia train is like pretty fucking tired. I don't really want to see a whole movie like that necessarily. And I like, just to talk more about like the ideas they have in this movie, I really like the design of the mask and like the overall silhouette of John Carver, and the idea of like playing on that name Carver like is really fun and entertaining. He uses the axe a lot of times when he's killing folks. I like the scene we get where the mask kind of starts to melt a little bit and he wears it
the
around.
oven.
Because the oven gets hot. Like,
but he just has a ton more.
He's got a stack.
I was like, oh, okay, so this will be like the Chip and Jason's mask sort of thing.
Yeah.
But no, he just has a stack of these other fucking masks.
Yeah, I was okay with that.
Yeah, I don't have a big problem with it. I just kind of was like, oh, cool. This is like the real John Carver mask.
Well, it kind of explains it though, because you get so many iterations of a film, and every time there's a new, different kind of mask. And so, honestly, I took it as a kind of nod to that, where sometimes they look grimy, sometimes they look burned, but then in the next kind of film, they're kind of clean again or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you just got a stack of them. So that I don't know. I like that scene where it melted. I liked that it was tied to the oven. And that he did have a stack of them, which explains why it's clean again. It just works.
I don't have a big crux against it. It's just like it's just a very strange. It's maybe a little superfluous, but that's not the biggest problem.
Yeah,
Juice, you also kind of touched on. There's a lot of nods to other slashers in this, and they don't feel like too wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Like they're not cutesy about it.
Yeah,
really.
It's not like the Loomis Pizza or whatever, or like
Evil Dead. That's a good call. Yeah, it's not like Evil Dead where it's like
Henrietta's
nerds.
Pizza.
We know what's up. We're giving you what you want. It's
You
just,
like this?
I'm fine with some of that too. Like even on the nose stuff occasionally is okay. Like in Evil Dead Rise, it didn't bother me too much, but it can become too much very, very easily.
Probably the most like upfront obvious one is how the movie starts. It's very the opening of Halloween with a POV shot, and you hear the heavy breathing, and he's walking up to this house in the suburbs. And it definitely makes you think Halloween immediately, but that didn't bother me at all.
No.
Another one. I think the first kill we see is the woman working in the diner, and
the first post credit.
And he like sticks her head in either the grease. I think it's a grease pit, and
it's a sink that's got water.
It's a sink, okay.
But then because it's then wet,
right?
He's able to stick it to the side of the freezer door.
Right. Yeah.
Well, that scene specifically reminded me of My Bloody Valentine, where someone's drowned in like the hot dog water. Like you get the like
the old Fred Durst,
the looking up at them, and you see like them being drowned. I don't know, it's kind of like a nice nod to My Bloody Valentine.
I thought of Jason X, honestly.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, totally.
I thought of My Bloody Valentine too, as well, because that's such a distinct scene. But then it takes it in its own. I like that kill though too, where you get a little bit of the gore. You got the Eli Roth gore. He'll bring it sometimes. He doesn't indulge as much.
Yeah,
which I appreciate. It shows some restraint, maybe some growth. But her having to rip her face off of the door, it's been frozen too, and then run around a little while like that with her face kind of ripped up.
Well, then the dumpster where she gets cut in half and all of her guts.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
It ends in an iconic moment.
It does. Yeah. Because then she runs away, and he's got her car keys, and she's trying to escape the car, climbs halfway in the dumpster,
He
and
just
she hits the
couldn't help
dumpster.
himself.
Yeah, cuts
And
her
they
in
do
half.
that fun thing where, like, that ridiculous thing where the victim is being chased down by a car and doesn't think to like veer
Yeah.
at all.
Like, keep running straight. You're not going to outrun the car.
Yeah, and she actually almost got free by jumping into the dumpster. It's not something that could happen.
No.
But that's what's kind of funny about
see
it, I
it
guess.
every day.
Yeah.
Oh,
Every-
really?
every
Every
day.
day. I see. Okay.
Well, and then even the next scene, they do ham it up a bit. Some of the cops or whatever, the people are coming in to look at the body are holding her guts and shit like that.
Yeah,
And it's
they do.
very over the top. They do, yeah. He reins that in a little bit. We do get another style scene like that with the turkey.
Oh, yeah.
later
That's
on.
the one that they kind of had to do.
Yeah,
more
because
than
of the
any
trailer.
other.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just such a I'm glad they didn't go the extra mile from the original trailer with the fucking of the turkey and all that shit.
Well,
That was
yeah.
I'm happy
obviously
they didn't do
way
that.
like there's stuff that he like. I'm not a big Eli Roth guy. We all kind of tend to agree with that, and certainly not a Hostile guy. I really don't like those movies, like just the gore for no reason sort of thing. And this one does sort of like straddle the line where it is effective gore and they do linger on it, but they don't go to an area that's like repulsive necessarily. It's all in good fun for the most part.
Yeah, I think it delivers on the red stuff in the correct amount, like enough that it is still over the top, but it's not just like pounding you in the face with it.
Yeah, the roasted lady is the most
Yeah.
gruesome thing because she just roasts to death.
Yeah.
There's definitely before she's in the oven and he's like basting her and putting like parsley in between her toes and
Oh my
stuff. That
God.
is like 4 Quentin Tarantino.
Dude,
brushing her with butter, brushing her feet with butter.
Dude, I
Or
turned
Quentin.
to Juice right there. I was like, Eli always has wanted to be Quentin, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's just appealing to his buddy.
But also
Ridiculous.
too, I mean, it's weird though because then later he has that scene where she's on the table, her husband throws up in his gag, and that's really kind of disgusting. And he cuts a piece off of her thigh, and it looks nasty, but it's not played up
They don't make him eat
very
it, so,
campy
like,
in
No,
that way.
yeah.
It toes more to the line of brutality, like if you were watching someone that you knew
Yeah.
be cut up like a turkey.
But then they also have her husband like puke through a mouth gag.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
all
yeah.
very like it makes sense, but it's also very grotesque in
It
every
is,
way.
yeah.
The thermometer whenever he puts her in the
That
oven
made me laugh so
that
hard.
was pretty funny. I
Yeah.
I thought, is that like is this like a syringe so that she doesn't like, die screaming sort of thing? Is this some mercy kill?
No.
Nope.
Wants to know when she's done.
The turkey popper. Like fucking hilarious.
It is.
And of course it doesn't work properly because she's clearly not done when it pops.
She
Just like in
she
real
was in there
life.
for like 2 minutes. Come on.
Yeah.
That's what do you do? How,
mean-
you got to cook that thing for hours.
Them eyes were still perfectly moist, is all I'm saying.
Whoa.
Randy. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's some other solid kills in this. The electric knife with the security.
that one was
guy.
solid. Yeah.
The security guard guy.
Oh
That was
shit,
a-
we didn't even talk about
That
Black
beginning,
Friday.
Yeah, the
Dude, we
opening
gotta
scene.
talk. Yeah, because that
That
is a little bit
definitely
of a bait
felt
and
like a
switch.
nod toward Krampus.
Yeah, I think
Was it
so,
a nod,
yeah.
or I mean, I just feel like it was like the framing of the movie,
same
and
thing.
it just
It was, yeah.
it wound up being the same thing, and
The
that's totally fine.
anti-capitalist kind of?
It's just
Yeah.
like with Krampus, it's just the credit scenes. It doesn't really have anything to do with the actual movie of
Right.
Krampus
It's just the
necessarily.
cynicism of the
So it's
holiday.
almost like fulfilling that.
Yeah, I mean
in a
that's the
way.
thing is like it's like it's making that integral to the plot more so than just like a place setting for the cynicism of the season, and that's all great. And I really like that scene. I thought it was great. I don't think that's overly done territory, so it worked out really good. My problem with it, and this is probably my biggest issue with the movie, is that it kind of promises social commentary that it never really fulfills in the end. And, I'm not really looking for that in this movie necessarily, but it feels like it's definitely trying to touch on that at the beginning of this movie, and it just doesn't really go anywhere. It kind of does a little bit, but by the end, like the obvious villain of the right Price Mart, whatever, guy, and the guy whose wife was like was killed in that, who worked there and was like protesting the whole movie. That just kind of goes nowhere, and I don't like that about it. Like if you could stick the landing on that a little bit better. Like in the end, they make the Price Mart guy a sympathetic character, and they never even touch on the guy that was supposed to be like the red herring of.
Yeah.
He was kind of a red herring for a while, and then he just kind of disappeared. He was too obvious of a red herring, I guess, and they just never follow up on him again after he's like at that parade and does a little protest that lasts like all of 1 second. Like
I think they do enough as far as like the touching on the commercialization of the holiday. And the guy, the Mr. Right or whatever, isn't it? He actually does the following year decide to close on Black Friday and Thanksgiving and not do the sale or whatever. And they also touch on like the sordid history of the holiday and like how kind of fucked up it is that we celebrate it the way we do, with the which was done in a really funny way, I thought. The kid in high school, he like reads his paper. He's standing up in class reading his paper. And he's like, and that's why I'm never celebrating Thanksgiving ever again.
Yeah.
And slams his paper down, but then starts crying.
Yeah.
And lifts his shirt up to dry his eyes, and he's all ripped up like
Dude, that was-
six-pack
Yep.
abs.
And he walks out with
With these
a woman on
girls-
each corner, on each
trying to console
shoulder.
him. It is fantastic.
That is hilarious because that's also like that's good in and of itself because it's A, hilarious in its own right, and B, also kind of is like, yeah, people like do a lot of lip service to that stuff, but we're still eating the turkey and shit, like, and we're still like benefiting and enjoying the sales,
Taking
or
the
whatever.
ladies home.
Yeah, and we're still
Getting
doing that,
laid.
except for Bob, as we all know.
He's got a husband bulge.
So. No, I don't know. I think just the Price Mart guy, like, it makes sense with it. Like, it just feels like they harp kind of hard on the anti-capitalist stuff at the beginning, and then that just sort of like fades away entirely. I wish there was more of a landing pad for that in the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Rather than just having him learn his lesson. Maybe it's like, I don't know what it could be exactly, but it just feels a little unfulfilled. And I really wanted to see more from the guy who was the manager that got called in, whose wife got killed, that Patrick Dempsey was having the affair with, because he got the raw deal more than anybody else.
I guess so. And honestly, I was a little just confused about that situation because he's there at the dinner.
Yeah.
So the opening scene, he's there at the dinner with his wife, who's eventually going to be killed, and with the owner of the store.
No. That's a different Thanksgiving meal.
Yeah, there's two that they're cutting back and
contrasting.
forth.
Oh,
And
that's
I
right.
agree
That's
that
right.
those are
That's
kind of
right.
visually
okay.
similar, and
yeah,
that's a kind of a
that's
problem
why it's
too.
That's right. Okay, because the other family who owns it, they're sitting in their house, and they even mention that later. Like, you're sitting in your mansion. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
That's
It's the
right.
haves
You're
and
right.
have-nots.
You're right.
He's
Thinking back. Yeah.
He's got to sit down and carve the turkey, and he can't even eat because
That's
he's got to
right.
go to work.
Because
Right.
Mr. Wright, who's sitting in his other house, is called. Okay.
Yeah.
And then
Yep,
Patrick
I gotcha.
Dempsey and Gina Gershon go and like go together
Yeah.
to give him a meal, and that's when shit goes
That's when
down.
she
Yeah.
dies. Yeah. And the security guard at the beginning, like, I thought that dude was fucking hilarious. They really go hard on like the Massachusetts accents to
Yeah.
this movie.
The massholishness in this, like, it's a really fucking fabulous choice. It makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense for this particular subject matter, and it's a really like hammy way to, like, I don't know, insert a little bit of stupid levity into
Dude,
things.
it cracked my ass up.
Dude.
Apparently, Eli's from Massachusetts, so I guess
yeah.
he would
Oh.
have an ear for that sort of thing.
And don't you forget about the Salem witch trials. This is good old Massachusetts, Doc.
What is that one from?
I don't remember.
I can't remember.
Well, I thought they used the setting well too. Just
Yeah.
driving around town, they go to some historical spots, and they use that later on where the guy is kind of underneath the little cabin or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, with the accents and the just weather and some of the historical locations, I like the setting generally. The parade, I thought, honestly, with as many references as he was kind of doing to holiday themed horror, I thought he was going to maybe lean a little bit more into the Jaws aspect of, we got to keep this
Yeah.
parade going. This is
I
Thanksgiving
thought they
town.
would too. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I
He
thought
did
that's
it,
where
not
like
really.
the Price Mart thing was going. Was that, but
Yeah.
for business specifically.
Yeah.
Well, and the parade too,
Yeah,
because
and he's
nobody
part of
makes
that. And he's
nobody
still-
makes any protest about the parade going on
Yeah,
or
that's
anything
true.
like that.
and they do protest it. They just talk.
well, they're protesting Price Mart specifically, but
Right.
nobody makes any mention of, should we do a
Yeah.
Thanksgiving
yeah,
parade
that's
or
true.
anything
And they also
that?
like this is in the same movie where, in fairness, like, they did write this part, which I thought was good, which is they try and have a commercial at the John Carver house, a historic landmark, and it gets turned over and flipped up, and and
Yeah.
the Price Mart guy, he's like, "Oh, our commercial's ruined," and and Patrick Dempsey's like, "Yeah, this local heritage site has been destroyed." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, that too,"
That too.
or something like
yeah,
that.
I just want to shoot my commercial here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he doesn't give a shit. And
Yeah, that was pretty
I just
good
feel like
commentary.
they could have leaned into that just longer. It just didn't. It just kind of petered out.
yeah.
They touch on that, like, I forget who says it. Someone in the movie's like, Thanksgiving is a damn institution in this town. They kind of dance around it a little bit.
I know they don't want to go too fucking hard. I understand that that's not the point of this movie necessarily, but they really push it hard in the beginning, and that's the reason that I kind of have a problem with it not hitting it as hard at the end.
I really like that parade sequence because when we were watching it, the dude runs out wearing a clown mask. And we kind of looked at each other and we're like, "What the fuck?"
I was like, "What is that?
Who's happening?"
It felt like one of those. It did. It felt like
it just got us.
It felt like one of those videos with the dancing bears or whatever.
Yeah,
catch it.
Count the basketballs, and the bear rides by, and it's like you didn't even notice it.
It's just real quick, and there's a lot of other shit going on, and we all just did a moment.
It's like a literal killer clown mask.
Yeah.
Was that a clown? What?
And then, literally, I think the second that I turned and said that to you was when
the reveal
happened.
Yeah,
and it was great.
So it was good timing.
Yeah, very good.
I thought that was set up really well.
He cuts the mascot's head off and throws all those smoke bombs and shit. That whole sequence is really effective. I thought it was shot well.
It was good. Now, this was one thing Randy had brought up, I think, with Terrifier, where it's a little bit different, where sometimes, Art the Clown just starts blasting. This dude is rolling around with a dart gun.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that?
I didn't love that about it. I think that, I don't know. It makes sense within the context of the story they are ultimately telling about this one killer.
Yeah.
So I don't. I guess I'm of two minds about it, because as a method of doing that, as a whodunit method, it makes sense. The nuts and bolts makes sense. But stylistically, it's just kind of a drag.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it serves the plot. I guess I'm kind of indifferent about it. At first, I didn't realize it was a dart gun. I thought he was just murdering folks, and I was like, "Well, that's kind of."
I thought
lame.
so too, and that's the stuff that I generally don't like. I was like, if you're gonna have a and Eli Roth, we just watched a 30-second featurette in the living room there. He was like, we want every kill to be iconic in its own way.
Sure,
that's what we strive for. And I was like, well, if you just go around shooting people, that's not hitting that mark for me.
They didn't do that.
And they didn't do
fair.
that. But I'm just saying, I'm glad that Eli has that point of view on this, because it could have easily done just something dumber.
Yeah. And I think most of the kills are pretty iconic. Well, there's a couple we haven't touched on yet. The trampoline is another one.
Mm-hmm.
So that was another one talking about Eli Roth and his kind of growth or restraint. Because honestly, I was surprised. That was the one. I hadn't watched this trailer in a while. I didn't watch it before we did this, but it always stuck out to me of the woman on the trampoline. She goes to do a split. The guy puts the knife underneath and it goes right up the crotch.
Yeah.
And we get the trampoline scene here. There's no nudity though. Well, her ass does come out, but
it's very short.
Yeah, it's very short.
Short ass.
It's not
it's a short ass.
It's not done like how the grimy trailer's done.
Yeah, no, you don't see any breasts. You don't linger on anything.
Yeah, no yabos. And then, and they switched it. He doesn't. She's just jumping, and first the knife gets her in the heel, and then she falls, which is honestly an interesting way to alter it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To fall on the knife because you already have the momentum of the trampoline.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. It's still brutal. Still
in
fun.
isolation, it's perfectly fine. It's weird that there's this a proto version of it that is very, very different out there
and distinct. I think because it's so distinct.
Yeah, and I'm I don't miss it, if I'm being honest.
Yeah,
but I also don't know that. I don't know. It doesn't quite seem as iconic, but I also don't mind the sacrifice, because that is a little bit beyond what I would like to see in a slasher movie.
Now, right before that, he is always dancing between these kind of two lanes, but I don't really have a problem with it, because right before that, the guy who's watching, the boyfriend, just gets his neck twisted, but it's all the way around.
It's an exorcist twist. It's full twist.
And then, but there's another kill later. So right when we're getting a turkey scene where there is a woman tied up like a turkey roasted on the table. Another one is the kid who shot the video in the Black Friday event and kind of posted it and made it viral and stuff like that.
Kevin, he
just gets his head beaten with a hammer
Well, it's
straight
it's a
up.
meat tenderizer.
A meat tenderizer, just straight up.
Yeah.
And so there's nothing particularly clever other than it being a meat tenderizer.
Well, it's a meat tenderizer, and there's a lot of like, I don't remember what they are now, which is not great, but like they had a couple of one-liners in there where it's like making puns about the holiday.
The
as he's doing that.
leftovers.
Yeah, he does the like. It ultimately culminates to where I don't have a problem with it, but like again, like taken without those other elements,
Yeah.
it's a pretty straightforward kill. It is brutal,
Yeah.
So it like hits that mark, and it hits the Thanksgiving theming mark. So for me, it's not such a ding. It's just not as iconic.
It
as the
wasn't
other
a ding
stuff.
for me either.
Okay.
I didn't mean that to be a ding. I was bringing up the interesting aspect of sometimes these, like, so for instance, the trampoline was, he switched it to not be the iconic, like, up the crotch shot. It is brutal, but then on the other end, you have this one where the dude his head is just twisted backwards,
Yeah.
which is completely different. And then on the
It's
other
just
hand,
not
you
like-
have the turkey, which is ridiculous looking and seeming. And then you have a guy who gets his head beat in with a meat tenderizer.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, yeah, it is kind of varied, which I mean is for the best. You don't want to have
Yeah,
a lot of the
honestly,
same
I think
kills.
so, yeah.
You really don't want to have like repetitive kills, which is what a lot of slasher movies end up doing. Just I feel like for budgetary reasons.
I don't think he kills anybody with a knife in this that I can recall.
No, he
which-
does carve a lady, but that's it.
Yeah, that's
No, yeah, he's got not even an axe. Did he actually axe anybody?
Yeah, the mascot gets decapitated.
Okay, is that when he delivers the line, "There will be no"? Oh no, that was in the trailer. That's when they say
I
it
think
when
there
he gets
is-
decapitated. But he
Yeah.
does. When does he
think
say
he
it?
does say it
when he hits the head. I
think so.
There will
He's-
be no leftovers.
And he says it at the very end of the movie too, when he's
Yeah.
chasing after them in the truck.
which is a fun line.
I like it.
Yeah,
honestly,
I like it.
yeah,
It's goofy. It's funny.
Yeah, that's the right cadence for a movie
it
like
is.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
be no leftovers.
I think the only other like big kill we haven't touched on is the circular saw. Like, I mean, the girl gets
Oh,
the
yeah.
corn things
Yeah,
in the ears and
yeah.
then throws Yulia on
That was
the
kind of
circular saw.
brutal.
It was
so
very brutal.
That was the one I was honestly kind of referencing as maybe being a little too much.
Mm-hmm.
But to be fair as well, just because even the ideas of the corn
corn
on the cob
Yeah.
holders are so small, but it's very ridiculous and campy, but they still play it with a ring of brutality because it's in her ears and she has to pull them out and they do the ringing.
Yeah, she
there's some
can't
blood
hear.
coming out of her ears and
Yeah.
she's still trying to escape.
Yeah.
So fair enough.
I mean,
you know?
they tie it in with a better. It's not even technically a kill, but like the maiming that she goes through is
Yeah.
enough for
She
the,
does
the theme.
die.
And she does
Yeah,
die,
yeah,
but like
she
the
does
death
die.
is not as themed.
It's kind of accidental. He like throws her.
Yeah. And you know what? Like getting to her, correct me if I'm wrong. How does he kill the security
I was about to
guard?
bring
I think
that
he
up,
does
too.
just
He
shoot
might
him.
just shoot
Because I
him.
remember having that feeling like, oh, I hate them people that shoot in this.
I mean,
Or
maybe
he
it was
might
the
be
darts.
darted.
They might
he
be
might just be
darts.
asleep. I think
Yeah.
he was just
Maybe.
on the ground.
Could be. Yeah, it's
That's
hard
possible,
to tell.
but
I'd have to rewatch
they never
it.
follow up on any of
They
that.
don't.
I don't know. That if it is a gun, either way, honestly, it's just like a little bit plot convenient.
Yeah,
But-
I'm sure if they had more time, they maybe would have done up those kills a little more. I think they shot this in like 30 days, which is insane.
I also kind of feel like that character, like it wasn't built to anything. Like the dad was just suddenly there and a character, like a character.
He's like a
Yeah, he never been
huge-
there before.
It's just
muscular Russian guy.
Yeah,
It's
like-
like, what is this guy? What's he doing in Massachusetts?
he's got a security guard. Yeah, and like none of that stuff is covered, which is like we don't need to know any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, it just feels like details that don't have a source. Almost, they just are kind of thrown in there.
Yeah.
and so that in combination with like just getting rid of a security guard or whatever with a gun of some kind is
Yeah.
a little lackluster for me.
Dude, speaking of characters, someone we definitely got to talk about is like the older guy that's like selling these kids
Yeah.
guns. And
Oh
shit.
yeah,
I
forgot
love
all
that
about-
character.
That's his scene where they go to his house. Oh, I forgot totally about Scuba too. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are, yeah. So
what happened to Scuba? I'm trying to remember.
He lives.
He lives, yeah.
Oh, does he?
He survives. Yeah, he was at the dinner scene,
But he wasn't at the scene because she ran away
I
separately.
think he gets hurt.
Yeah, right,
Okay.
yeah.
I think he gets hurt, but survives. But
right. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
there's
right.
this older guy who's always hanging out at the high school selling beer, and he
Dude.
eventually sells them guns. But he's throwing this
He's got the
exclusive
blunderbuss, kid.
Thanksgiving party?
Yeah.
Where kids just go drink
Drink
in his
beer
house.
and shit.
And
The Plymouth Rock float is one of the funnier gags.
dude, that is pretty good. Yeah,
It's one of the funnier. He's just shredding a flying V.
What
It's
a
the
character.
best.
that was pretty good. But yeah, they go into his room and everything's these secret hidden compartments, like in
Guns
his
everywhere.
like boombox. Like
Yeah,
comes-
everything's hidden
In his bed.
in the most like
in the
fucking
wall.
ridiculous, like just to impress the guy you're selling it to kind of way.
Yeah.
Dude, that guy was hilarious. His
That's pretty
accent
good.
is so fucking thick, too.
And he's the one that gives her the ring that's got a knife on it.
Yeah,
which I think they set
yeah.
that up pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gave
But-
it to her like it's for good luck or whatever. In another scene,
I think it works out pretty well. It's a little contrived, but not so much that it bothers me.
Yeah,
I think if they had shown much more of that guy, though, it might have had diminishing returns.
and he doesn't
Probably.
really come back. They don't give him any kind of crazy moment. He's just some good flavor in there.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
guy is the mayor of Duncan's, for sure. That's
Yeah, and Scuba I thought was a good character because he was one after people start getting picked off. They make some smart kind of decisions, you know. People try to escape, they're not able to escape. So
Well.
then they're like, well, we're gonna try to fight back. They go get some guns.
Yeah.
I mean, for a slasher, people
And
are kind of making the best decisions.
Not always.
Well, not always, but as things start unraveling,
yeah.
Yeah,
know?
I mean, yeah, they do make some smart decisions, but then there was a moment I remember vividly, you and I just laughing at this scene right before, I think it's Kevin, the guy who gets meat
Yeah,
tenderized,
I think you're right.
and his girlfriend. They go into the school, and right before that, it's that couple and the main girl, and they're talking like, okay, we can't leave each other's side. We got to stick together. It's like, okay, we're gonna go grab our stuff from inside,
We'll
and
be
then
right
they
back.
immediately separate. And I'm like, what the fuck? I gotta think that's an intentional
It's a joke.
gag.
I think
Oh, yeah.
so.
Because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
played subtly enough to where it could not be possibly,
Yeah.
but I think it has.
I thought
to
it was
be.
funny as
Nobody as knowledgeable about the genre as Eli's going to do that accidentally. I don't think.
Yeah, for sure. He's got a show called The History of Horror, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I mean,
I think they used technology in this movie in a way that's not like too cheesy or overdone. I think it's like used smartly. Like he didn't have to find a way to like take phones out of the equation. He actually has like
He
the
uses
killer
them.
use
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
they have the social media
Yeah.
commentary kind of by just inclusion, I guess.
He's getting a lot of likes on these like awful posts and live feeds that he's
Look at them
posting.
likes, kid.
Look at them likes. Yeah.
Big old doinks.
So I like that aspect of this killer. I feel like that's something that we don't. It seems like a lot of people are trying to like steer clear of that stuff when they're making modern horror movies, but I think he leans into it in a way that's done pretty well for the most part.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that like I don't know. Like I'm not as big on like the whodunit stuff in general with slasher movies. I don't know. Ultimately, I think this is something that I mentioned not too long ago, at least on the Slack, which is that I think I'm just kind of softer on these heavily seasonally themed movies for whatever reason, just because if they lean hard enough into the theme of the season, then it just makes some of those flaws really, really smooth over for me. Some of these little things that we've talked about, even some of the bigger stuff to some degree, is softened because you're making a fucking slasher movie around fucking Thanksgiving dinner. It's like so absurd in its very nature that I don't know. I'm very easy to wipe away some of these things and write them off, whereas I might not have been if this had been just a straight slasher.
Well, honestly, in my mind, the way I kind of see it is it adds this new element that I kind of have to rank in a way. And in adding a new element, it almost kind of dilutes the score a little bit because if I normally judge a film on, okay, this is a normal slasher. Oh, what are the kills like? How's the acting going? What's the general plot? But then when you have a movie like this, I'm kind of like judging the festiveness.
Yeah, it's like
of
an extra
it.
category you got to
Yeah, so that means you get bonus points for the festiveness, and if this other one kind of is not as strong, well, then the overall score is still going to be a little bit higher because you get the bonus points for delivering on the festiveness.
That tracks, yeah. And this one, like, I think even if this was not themed the way it is, I would still find this to be a serviceable slasher.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Like, obviously, so much of it is informed by the seasonality of it, but whatever. But so much of it is informed by that, so it's kind of tough to remove it from it. And that's what you want from a seasonal movie. You want it to be inextricable. But just in trying to think of it objectively, if it was without those things and they just reworked it to be a little bit different, then it would probably be an okay slasher movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Were you guys, speaking of the whodunit aspect of this, were you thinking too much about like who is the killer? Did you figure it out? Did it matter much?
I just let it go, to be honest, because it's not big enough stakes where
we'll find out.
Yeah, we're gonna get there. And
there's very few of these like whodunit slasher movies where I don't kind of approach it that way, where it's like, you know, they're going to make it as oblique as possible.
Yeah.
So it's really an exercise in like who's the least likely suspect, and there's usually like 2 or 3 people it could be out of that category. And I didn't really guess who it was. I was like kind of thinking like, oh, maybe it's this guy, maybe it's this guy. This guy's too obvious. This guy's not obvious enough. Whatever. Maybe they'll subvert that and go for the most obvious guy, like Scream did. But then like, I didn't really have any sort of like, I didn't guess correctly, but as we were walking out, this lady and her boyfriend were walking out next to us, and she was like, I guessed who that was right away. And she was like so proud of it. I was like, all right, well, people were engaged with that.
I did not guess correctly. Something I did appreciate though is like right as the movie starts, I picked up on the fact that the cop and Amanda, I forget the lady's name, I picked up on the fact that they're probably having an affair.
Yeah.
So like,
See, I didn't catch that at first. I could tell there was like something going on there, but I thought it could be just stilted dialogue.
He brings a pie or something like that, and she's like, "Ooh, a man in uniform, and you can cook. You won't be single long." And it's like, "Oh, they're fucking. They're definitely."
Well, I didn't know what their relationship was either. I was like, "Is this a brother-in-law? What is this?" Like,
fair enough.
Yeah.
So I just didn't really linger on it. But looking back at that, I was like, I did figure it out by the time she finds Patrick Dempsey like in the road, and she runs away from him. Like. And he starts like they just show the slightest bit of him getting up before cutting. I was like, okay, well, this is our guy. Like whatever she finds in this warehouse is going to be a misnomer, and then he's going to have a big moment of where he reveals his deal.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, it's probably because the lady that got killed was somebody.
Good motivation though.
Yeah,
they wrote it well for that. Yeah,
solid overall. Yeah. Any other major points you guys want to touch on?
To be fair, though, going back to the very first scene we get from this, before he goes into the dinner, it's from his point of view. We're doing the Halloween Black Christmas shot of the killer.
The point of view shot.
That's pretty good.
And that's him. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It tells you right away.
Man, okay. All right, Eli.
Did you ever imagine we would be like this overall positive on an Eli Roth movie?
You
specifically. This man, I can
don't
see the
hate
chip on
Eli
your shoulder
Roth
from here.
like I hate Rob Zombie, where I'm just going in saying this is probably going to be absolute garbage. But you don't like that guy.
Well,
I
not
feel that way about
bad.
his movies typically, but
I don't like his movies generally speaking, but I think he seems like an okay guy.
Yeah, I kind of feel that way about Rob Zombie.
I'd have
too,
a beer
ultimately.
with him. Yeah, I'd have a beer with Rob Zombie.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. I'm sure neither of these fuckers want anything to do with us.
I'm
now.
sure.
But
Well, we'll see.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't want anything to do with me. Fuck me.
I will. Okay, well, let's go ahead and rate this thing out of 5. Let's do it. Juice, why don't you kick us off? How do you feel about Eli Roth's Thanksgiving?
Yeah, honestly, coming into this, I liked it. We had a lot of fun in the theaters, but I still was gonna kind of keep it on the lower end. I was like, it doesn't necessarily elevate to anything on a much higher level. But as we break it down piece by piece, he really did deliver in almost all the ways you needed to, in the best kind of ways that he needed to. And that's pretty impressive. I like the festiveness of it. The character design for this type of slasher, I think, is really well done. I like the kind of mass change and the kind of nod to that without having to hammer it home. Thought that was clever. I'm loving this point of view. That's the killer at the very beginning. I think the motivation is good. A lot of creative kills. The acting is pretty solid, and nothing is ever any amazing, but it's nobody's ever pulling me out really. Yeah, it's got a lot of good elements. I like the setting. Sometimes it does lean into some things a little bit. That the Black Friday-ness scene, it goes a little hard. And every now and then there are some things that just maybe are a little extra. But for the most part, he keeps it in check pretty good. A good blend of brutality, of humor, campiness. I don't know, man. I think he did a pretty good job, and this is going to be a movie now. Another thing about festive movies is you're thinking, it might be possible that I'm watching this on the reg once a year.
Annual.
I could definitely see that, yeah.
And so for that, I feel confident that I would be okay to watch this next year and have a good time with it again. So I think I'm going to give him a 3.5.
All right.
It's good. It doesn't elevate to anything. He's not trying to, though, and that's fine. It's a good, solid holiday slasher that adds a little bit of extra spice than you were expecting, but on the whole, good job, Eli.
Good job
Good
on
job.
the whole.
Yeah. Bob,
Hey.
you did a good job on that hole. Bob, tell us about Eli's hole.
Well, we're pretty positive overall on this, clearly. Something about the beginning, I think you were touching on, I don't know if I can put it in exact words, but something about that Black Friday sequence,
Yeah.
it felt clunky to me.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know how to make it better necessarily. I mean, I'm sure there's, 1,000 people out there he was trying to wrangle, which I can't imagine how difficult that would be. But it serves the plot of the movie, and it's the inciting incident, and there's like some decent gore and some decent laughs in it. So like, it's not bad. It just felt a little off balance somehow. I don't really know.
Yeah.
That's probably like my biggest critique. Outside of that, it had good kills. It kept me laughing consistently. It had some really interesting characters. Our main squad are solid. They deliver a decent performance. They've got the sort of Scream kind of vibe where they're running through the halls of the school, trying to figure out who done it, buying guns from this crazy dude. I think the design of the slasher mask and outfit is pretty iconic, actually. I really like how the mask looks. I think they cash in almost as well as anybody possibly could have on the overall Thanksgiving idea and theming, in the kills, the jokes, the costumes, the parade, the mascot getting its head cut off. There's some pretty iconic moments in this, I think.
Yeah.
A lot of good gore. I had a lot of fun with it. Overall, it's just a super fun movie, I think, that I definitely will revisit next Thanksgiving, and I look forward to doing it. It's I think he really did deliver on what he was trying to deliver, and I really enjoyed it. It's not like the best slasher I've ever seen, but as far as like modern ones go, I think this is like it's probably going to be up there. I'm gonna come in, I think, with a 4 out of 5 for Thanksgiving. Spicy indeed. Randy, how do you feel?
I'm also generally pretty positive towards this. I think that like I have already covered, like the commentary that it touches on at the beginning, I don't feel is fully fulfilled by the end, and that's one of those edges that, like, while it still is a little bit of a craw in my what is the phrase? it's stuck in my craw.
Stuck in my
there
craw,
we go.
yeah.
I was like, what did I do there?
A little bit of thorn in my craw.
Fuck him a craw.
I got a real thorn in my ass about it. But no, it ultimately smooths over with the theming and stuff. I feel like I will definitely probably throw this on next year, if not next year, then the year after. It'll be something I will recurringly watch probably. And that's pretty great for any a themed movie like this, but at the same time, I also feel like it doesn't have a ton of competition. Like, it's Blood Rage and it's this, basically, as far as I know. I could watch Poultrygeist. I don't like that movie as much as these two. So that's, I mean, good and bad there. Not necessarily bad, just not. It's a little tempered, I guess. Ultimately, I think that I would like to see more Thanksgiving slashers and horror movies in general. Like, why not lean into it? But I think the more inundated we get with those things, like Halloween, like Christmas movies, the returns diminish. Is ultimately what happens. I like the Black Friday scene in general, which is why it does stick in my craw that they don't follow up on it quite as much as I would like to in terms of the themes. I like the way that like the brutality of that scene. I do agree that it's a little clunky, but I think that's a byproduct of them having so much ground to cover. They have to set up these two, the haves, the have-not families, what their relationships are. They have to get them down there and have so many characters there as MacGuffin or as red herrings and as victims, future victims. They have to set up basically the entire plot of this movie. Every major character in this movie, for the most part, has to be there in some capacity. So, like, there's a lot going on, and I can't really fault them for having it be a little bit clunky because they have so much ground to cover. I don't know. I really enjoy this. I think that it's got its flaws. I think that, if it was excised from the theming, it would be just okay, like on the higher end of okay, probably. But that gets pushed by the really, really well done theming, I think, and also the restraint shown by Roth compared to some of his other stuff, which is the stuff I don't like, the hostile stuff. He definitely pulled back a lot on that. He showed that restraint, but he also didn't give up on that entirely. Some of the kills on here, you just have to look at the most iconic kill, which is the turkey roast kill, and it's clear that he's still the same guy he was when he made Hostile. He's choosing his shots better, I think. So ultimately, I have a pretty positive view on this. I think I'm going to also go with a 3.5.
3.5 from Randeezy as well. It's going to put our aggregate at a 3.7 overall for Mr. Roth's Thanksgiving.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's
Shocked.
jump into our... Damn. Are you okay?
I am shocked.
Let's jump over into our Rotten Tomatoes segment and see what the critics and users think about Thanksgiving.
Certified fresh to death.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Rotten Tomatoes segment. If you have not heard before, this is where we're going to have these two gentlemen guess within the best of their abilities what the aggregate positive score is for critics and users on RottenTomatoes.com for Thanksgiving. We're going to start, as we always do, with the critical reviews. There are 92 reviews counted here. 92. I'm going to start with Bob today. Bob, where do you think those 92, what percentage of those 92 do you think were positive reviews?
Interesting question, Randy.
I ask it every week.
Not this movie's like definitely not made for critics, but it also like isn't a terrible movie. So I don't know exactly like how to handle this one necessarily. High, I think overall positive, but not super high because it's a sleazy slasher movie at the end of the day still. So I'll take a 72, I think. 72. All right. Juice, how about you? Where are you coming in at?
Yeah, I'm in that line of thinking as well. I think it's going to be positive, but capped, maybe. I think it's going to be lower on the critics on that one. So I'll say 60.
60%. All right. Well, let's do a little quick head math here. I think that the winner is going to be 11 percentage points off. 11 percentage points off. And that winner is going to be Bob for 83%.
Wow.
83% critic score.
Wow.
I was a little surprised too. But
All right.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's about as high as a out of nowhere slasher movie is going to get.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know many other
holiday themed slasher film. 83.
I mean, I could see like a particularly good like Halloween movie or something maybe getting a bump to higher than that, but
wow,
solid.
Yeah.
Very solid.
Good job, man.
Before I read the critic consensus, I think I'm going to go to the audience. Eli on the Whole. That's his new show. Let's go over to the audience score before we read our critic consensus. There are 250 plus verified ratings, so under 300 here. It's still pretty new. We'll start with Juice this time. Juice, where do you think that those audience members are going to fall?
Well, I thought it was going to be higher than the critics, but that's too bold to go, honestly. So I'll take it a little bit lower. I'll say 75.
75. All right, Bob, how about you?
I think I might go higher than the critics. Let's get crazy, and I'll take an 85.
85. All right. A little bit of head math here. Yeah. Okay. The winner is going to be only 4 percentage points off. You guys are in the right zone. And Juice is going to take this one. It's 79%, almost dead center of the two of you.
That's a hell it's not sweet.
No, it's not.
Hell
No.
yeah.
Hey, pump the fucking brakes over there.
We some little juice.
We're not sweeping shit.
Yeah, okay. That's just a hell yeet.
That's just a petty little fucking hell.
All right.
Oh, God. Thank God you have your scruples.
That's still pretty almost dead even. Almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was like a 1 point off from being a complete tie.
And that's about where we rated it, too.
Yeah.
So...
still lower than the critics, though, surprisingly. Yeah. I'm guessing with more reviews, maybe they'll even out with each other, but I don't know. Who can say? Critics' consensus reads as follows. Combining belly-busting humor with delightful over-the-top gore, Thanksgiving is a feast for the Grindhouse fans. Or for Grindhouse fans, rather. I think that's mostly apt. Belly-busting humor might be overstating it a little bit.
Too much.
I think they were trying to go for the Thanksgiving, like, you ate so much, your belly blew. Like,
yeah, you're probably right. They're trying to be funny.
Cute. Yeah.
Fuck off.
Your damn puns.
God damn it.
Shut the fuck up!
Yes. Too cutesy.
No, I'm fine with cutesy. It's fine.
It's fine. I'll allow
It's
it.
fine.
And now we're going to read a negative review or two and see if there's any funny ones in the mix. Here we go. Going in blind. Let's see. Thanksgiving overflows with gross-out violence and corny one-liners. The dialogue grates the nerves, and the characters play as one-dimensional and entitled imbeciles. Written by a person unfamiliar with slasher movies, I'm assuming.
What? Okay.
No,
I thought that was part of the
sorry,
artist.
that was-
Whoa.
That was my addendum.
I see. Gotcha.
I don't know shit, just to let you know.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Let's see. Let's try and find one in here. Let's go with this one. When unashamedly embracing a slasher persona, it proves far better than it has any right to be. What a shame that these simple genre thrills are tangled in a more confused attempt at horror comedy. What?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think horror comedy fits very nicely with the slasher genre. I mean, we're in a post-Scream world, my
With
guy.
a giant turkey woman? Yeah, you can have some jokes in there.
Yeah, you might be able to sneak a few jokes in. I'm going to do one more. Just fuck it.
All right.
No originality and no thrills, but enough stomach-churning gore to keep the scaremongers happy.
I didn't know we were talking about Terrifier dudes.
Dude, scaremongers?
shots.
What does that mean? like, we're not the ones selling anything. We just like horror movies.
Wow.
What the fuck?
I'm a scaremonger.
That's a Rex Reed review, everyone. I'm calling out the name.
Damn.
All right. Yeah, that's it for Rotten Tomatoes. Bob, how about that trivia seg?
There is ever so little trivia, but let's do it.
All right.
It's totally time for trivia.
Oh, man. Your boy Eli Roth apparently gave up directing duties to Tim Miller to do an additional reshoot for Borderlands so that he could focus on this movie.
Oh.
I guess that Borderlands movie is finally coming out next year.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
and
Borderlands,
Eli-
the game movie?
Yeah.
the game
Oh,
movie,
shit.
yeah.
And
All
it's
right.
got a wild cast.
Does it really?
Jamie Lee Curtis is
Jamie
in
Lee
it, right?
Curtis
What?
is in it. And Jack Black is in it.
Damn.
Fuck. I don't know. I only played the second one of those games, but it had kind of funny dialogue, so I could see that.
Man,
I
I
guess.
just have no... I can't believe it's coming out. I can't expect it's going to be good in any capacity.
Oh, it's a video game movie. Its
Yeah.
rate of success is like 1%.
And Eli Roth. But after this, I'm like, hey, let's see what he
I'd
does.
give it a
Maybe.
shot. I'm not very precious about that franchise. I really liked the game, but I'm not precious about
be
it. So if they fuck
precious.
it up, it's fine.
Stop being so precious.
Now, however, the Zelda movie, if they fuck that up,
It's live
heads will
action.
roll.
This apparently is one of the first major theatrical movies to have a TikTok star in it. I guess.
Oh, really?
The person is Addison Rae, who I don't know.
That's
who
a
that
name
is.
I've heard.
Who is it?
I don't know.
Like in this movie.
Let me see if I can find out for you.
We are not on it.
I'm not a talker.
Gabby.
Gab.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, I think that's the cheerleader that doesn't get it up the crotch, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, is that why the yabos
yeah,
weren't
I think
popping?
you're
That
right.
would make sense. At least that's okay. On their Instagram, this person's Instagram, it's Yeah, yep.
She's
That
okay.
looks like it.
She's a TikToker.
Well,
So that's cool for the young kids, I guess.
Oh, the youth. Bring out the youth.
Children watching this. Body count 14 in this movie. Amanda Doug, unnamed customer during Black Friday riot. Lizzie, the other security guard during the riot. Lonnie, Amy, Yulia's father, unnamed police officer. Lionel, the mascot, the driver of the Mayflower float. Kathleen and Evan. Eric's death is debatable because we don't see him die.
I like that he kind of like glosses over him. Is Eric's the scuba guy, right?
No, Scuba's alive for sure.
no, Scuba's definitely alive. Who's
okay.
Eric?
Eric, let
then?
me try and remind myself. Eric.
Because Scuba, I remember like he helps whatever the lead girl's name is run
Escape, yeah, 'cause he's
but he
trying to
gets
fight
kind of
him off
left
with
there
the
writhing.
axe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think his arm gets fucked or something.
The fuck is Eric? I don't know. It clearly doesn't matter that much.
Yeah.
I can't remember anybody else who is unclear if they survived or not.
There's a. I mean. Oh no, that's not.
I don't know.
Oh, we didn't even touch on fucking Marshall Mathers in a wig. The boyfriend. That fucking.
Oh yeah, we really didn't.
Oh, we didn't talk about the love triangle thing. Not
Yeah,
necessary
it's
for
not.
me.
It's all just misleads.
It's all
Yeah,
that's
red
all
herring
it is.
bullshit.
I really just like the look of that one guy. I was like, that looks like Marshall Mathers wearing a terrible wig to me. The taller of the two.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He looked like the dude from season 2 of The Wire to me. Ziggy's cousin.
Ziggy.
The tall guy. Not Ziggy.
Oh, Ziggy's cousin. Oh, Nick Sabatka.
Yeah, Nick. He
I could
looks
see
like
that.
Nick.
This.
Old Nick the Dick.
I mean,
I don't think he looks like Eminem.
that's how he's hitting me. He hit me that way immediately. I don't know. I may be alone in my principles, but that's
I think you are. That's pretty much all the trivia. Really not much on this one. Let's go ahead and jump into our Cooter of the week.
Straight chillin'. Cooter of the week.
Juice. What is a Cooter and why do we hunt them?
Ho, Cooter's a character type and a straight chillin' exclusive. Cooter must hit 3 of these 5 points to be considered a Cooter. We want the Cooter with the most points. The 5 points of Cooterdom are sexual deviance, manipulation, smug arrogance, overall look and attire, and overall patheticness. I feel like we probably got some options this week,
Yeah.
even outside the main killer. I think, like, what about maybe the store owner?
Yeah, the store owner is certainly set up to be a Cooter. They kind of give him redemption at the end, which I'm not huge on.
It's got some smug arrogance for sure.
His wife.
Yeah,
It's
his
hard.
wife.
She's basically like the devil on his shoulder versus his
true.
daughter.
True.
I think we got the guy selling beer and drugs to kids.
That guy
Mr.
could probably
Blunderbuss.
hit. Yeah. Yeah.
We got the diner lady who
Yeah.
both murders a person trying to get a waffle iron and then denigrates kids like at the beginning when you see her at the diner. It's the same woman that was like doing all that shit and she's like, come on kids, this isn't Price Mart, you actually gotta wait in line here or some shit. And it's like, fucking hell, they really want us to hate this woman. So there's her.
Yeah. And even that jock guy, maybe.
Yeah.
Because he's the one who grabs the bullhorn.
Yeah.
And is saying, "Oh, store's open,"
Oh,
and
yeah.
people go
Yeah.
rushing.
Yeah.
The Hanover kid.
Yeah.
Hanover.
Probably that kid who makes the video.
Yeah, that Kevin kid, he sucks a lot
Yeah,
of
he
the
sucks
time.
a lot.
I don't know. There's just too many to
There's
choose
a lot.
from.
I think there's a
no
lot.
one that really sticks out. They're all kind of on equal footing.
Yeah, I think it's.
I think
Well, the cop. Let's start with the cop, the killer.
sure.
Okay.
He's having an affair.
Sexual
he's-
deviance,
The wife
boom.
pregnant. So boom. Manipulating everybody. Obviously,
Yep,
that's what he's
Checkaroonie.
doing. Smug arrogance. I'd say so. I'd chalk up smug arrogance for sure.
Yep.
His attire. I mean, he's dressed like John Carver. John Carver.
I think it's a good look.
Yeah. No.
So-
looking slick.
All right. Well, patheticness.
Patheticness. I don't know. He's
don't
pretty
know.
capably doing this.
Yeah, he even like catches his mistake at the end. Like,
Yeah.
that is ultimately what gets him caught. He doesn't catch the not that his monologue is being broadcast, I guess, but
And he's
I don't think
pretty
that's pathetic,
yeah,
so he's just
strategic,
tricked. You know?
especially when he switches it up with the clown mask.
Yeah.
He is
also
on
just
point.
murdering teenagers.
Yeah, I think he's a Cooter, but I don't know if he's like a particularly strong Cooter in this movie.
No, yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I think he hits probably enough, but yeah. I think there's other Cooter style Cooters throughout this movie.
I mean, I think the most like there's two people I think to my mind that are like just really hitting the vibe of Cooter, and that's the blunderbuss guy, and it's Kevin, the meat tenderized kid,
and maybe the dad.
Yeah, and the Price Mart dad. Yeah, you're right. So three.
So those, I agree.
I don't know if we can't really bundle them. They're coming from very different areas.
It's just a Cooter movie. It's just
there's a lot of Cooters so that you have a lot of red herrings to play with.
The guy that's selling him guns and beer and stuff, like, definitely would hit on Cooter, but I don't want to see him die because he's hilarious.
Well, yeah.
I think his death would be hilarious. So
I think you would be okay with Kevin and the dad dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
That'd be fine.
I think the dad ought to have. I mean, just going to slasher
or at least suffered
morals.
something.
Yeah, like I mean, his wife got killed or whatever, but she sucked and was like clearly like the villain of their family.
Yeah.
So it kind of doesn't hit right.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, not that she deserved it necessarily, but within the realm of slasher movie
Randy
victims,
wants to punish.
I'm a big Punisher. You know, they call me that.
Big Punisher.
They call me Big Punisher.
That's my boy, Big Punisher. My boy.
He's gonna punch that ass.
Yeah, that hole on the hole.
Jesus Christ.
I think we got the Price Smart mom and dad. I think we can lock them up solidly. That sounds,
Sure.
I think so. Yeah, I think.
fine.
I mean, manipulation. They manipulate the shit out of the town. They smug arrogance is through the roof.
Patheticness.
Absolutely. Sexual deviancy. We don't know much about that. Looking attire. They just look up like rich folk basically. So we can't really give them those. But they hit smug arrogance as their key.
She looks like a good turkey.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that thigh meat though, that was
It's very upsetting.
gnarly.
It's very upsetting. Watch.
That was too realistic.
Made me kind of
looking.
hungry, honestly.
No, it didn't.
No, it didn't.
He's got a husband bulge.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we got him. We locked him up.
Yeah.
Throw away the key. Gentlemen, it's time to relax, kick our feet up, and talk
Finally.
about what we've been watching this week.
Hey gang, what you been watching?
Randy, what you been watching?
Let's see. Well, not a whole lot. Been a lot of travel this week, and a lot of like people fucking getting married and shit. You know, that sort of thing.
Lame.
So I've been watching. I made this claim on Slack already, but I grew up watching the Drew Carey Show, and apparently it's just a show that you can't really watch anywhere, and that only has one season on even any physical media even. So like there's no like real legal way to watch it. So I just been watching clips of that and enjoying that greatly, and being very upset that they can't get access to it. So
That's weird.
Yeah, it is strange. And I've been rewatching Spaced, the Edgar Wright, Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, Jessica Hines sitcom from BBC, like I think 2001 or something like that, which is just so fucking great. It holds up perfect. It's an amazing show. We together as a group, I think Juice, you were going to mention Elf. I was going to mention that as well. So we got Elf. We watched, Bob, you and I watched the majority of Blood Rage before we started passing out from a long day. We watched Bigfoot Monster Mystery to celebrate Rob getting married. You know, we sent Alice to bed, you know.
Oh,
just
yeah,
watch this movie together. We got things to do. No, that's not true. And then there's a YouTuber that I'm just like weirdly obsessed with right now called Bobby Fingers, and I made Rob and people watch this just so I could feel there, just so there was somebody to share in the insanity with me. This man makes like incredible artworks, but also has a seemingly infinite funds and like does these like high concept videos. He's done like 3 or 4 of them, and they're very fucking strange. Rob, like, what was your takeaway from that? We didn't even finish it, but
I don't even know what that man's goal is.
Right.
So he makes this huge Jeff Bezos canoe, and it's like very
out of his face.
It's hyper realistic. It looks exactly like his face, and it's huge. And I can't imagine the tens of thousands of dollars it took to make it, if I had to guess.
Just in raw material. Like,
And then after, like, there's these weird segments where, like, during it, he goes to Turkey and gets an ass hair implanted on his head
For no reason, seemingly.
and it doesn't mean anything.
It pays off as a joke in the very end that you have not seen.
Oh, okay.
But that's it.
And then it
very
turns
weird.
into like a pirate short that's like produced really well, and he's dressed as a pirate.
Like,
and it's insane.
riding in Jeff
What
Bezos'
the fuck?
face.
It is insane.
It's
was
very
like-
fucking weird.
Whoa. All right.
I can't decide if I love it or hate it yet, but I think I'm leaning heavily towards love it.
That guy-
I just don't understand why.
I don't know where he gets his money from. That one video, I can't imagine what the budget had to have been.
It's insane. That's his biggest one, probably. He like makes up his other videos are mostly him making dioramas. I think the theme is like terrible moments of great men. So it's like Mel Gibson being pulled over by the cops and making racial slurs or shit like that. And he just makes a diorama of that. And then it's like incredible artwork. And then he just buries it and says the coordinates are hidden in this video. If you find it, it's yours.
What?
It's fucking weird. He's got a great Scottish accent. It's like ASMR Tom Waits shit. It's insane.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It's fucking weird.
Check that out. It's 30 minutes and it'll blow your mind.
It blew my dick in the dirt.
Into the dirt.
All right,
Damn.
I'm going to go ahead and
dirt.
hand that over to Juice now
Dirt.
because I don't have anything else
All right.
that interesting.
Well, luckily I split mine in half last week because I had seen so much. So I'm going to continue on my list. I watched A Nightmare Before Christmas. You got to do it November 1st. That's the perfect time. You got to do it. That's on the calendars.
that calendar is
great.
rock solid.
Well, and it looks like that's not one we're going to get to before 500. So that's going to carry a lot of weight post 500th episode for Straight Chillin', I suppose. I watched A Mickey Mouse Christmas Carol, which is the one I kind of grew up with when I was younger. And actually, in the same way we talk about how well the Simpsons are able to pull off, The Shining within such a small window. I think Mickey Mouse Christmas Carol kind of does the same thing and tells the whole story in maybe 20 minutes, Pretty good.
Yeah.
Home Alone, watched it. You got to do it.
Happy Hanukkah, Marv.
Yeah. I watch on the plane Trading Places, which is a movie I had seen, but not in a long, long time. And man, that is a weird, dark, dated movie.
Yeah, I watched that later in life, and it is not one that I don't see a whole lot of favorability in it for me.
It's so it's got a lot of problems, but it's interesting though. For its time period, I guess. I watched In Bruges, another kind of dark Christmas movie, which it was good.
That is a little bit of a Christmas movie.
It is. They're there at Christmas time. I watched How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the animated one. Great, so much better than that Halloween special. Scooby-Doo Haunted Holidays, which is like a little short. It's like an episode essentially, but it's Christmas themed. They're in a shopping mall, and there is a snowman creature. Pretty cool.
That sounds awesome.
Jingle All the Way, which it's not as I don't love it as much as you guys, I don't think. But
I think Rob loves it. More
it's
than I
Rob.
do, for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, I know Rob does.
I love Sinbad.
Yeah, I mean, there
I
are
love Phil
parts
Hartman.
Maybe I like to watch it thinking of how much Bob likes it. Maybe that's it.
Put that cookie down.
Because it's so concentrated. It's like somehow the candy-coated sugar version of any other kind of family Christmas movie. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
I watched Five Nights at Freddy's, which I never really played that game. I don't, to be honest with you, but as a film, it started off in an okay place and made some really weird decisions that I just don't know how they got there on That's Where We Should Go. So it was overall not good. And then also for the Christmas season, I watched the very first Harry Potter movie.
Nice.
Which is precious. They're so little. Like that movie, it's not a perfect movie, but at this point now, it's so kind of classic. And because they're such young kids, and because it's the first time going to Hogwarts and like bringing some of these things to life, I just love it. I just gotta love it. So yeah, and the music is amazing. They have some fantastic. They have this really fantastic Halloween scene and a couple fantastic Christmas scenes. It's just great. It's good fun to throw on. So yeah. So that's it. That's all I've been watching. Bob, what you been watching?
Not a whole lot.
Why?
I've been slightly busy.
Bob, you watched the one thing that's most important, and that is
It's just peanuts in your face.
God damn.
Bigfoot Monster Mystery.
I did finally get to watch Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman
Finally,
of Souls.
Bob. That was quite the journey.
Bob fucked himself up watching that movie the first time so hard.
We got screeners, and it just, goddamn, I tried to watch that movie and just couldn't ever do it.
Like three separate times.
Yeah, it's on Screambox now, so you can stream it on there. And I finally watched the movie, and I thought it was great. I really, really enjoyed it. It's super funny. The character of Onyx is really like endearing and hilarious, and there's some like practical effects that I think were well done. It's got a little bit of Barbara Crampton in it, a little bit of Jeff Combs. All around, I think if you're a horror nerd, you'll probably get a kick out of it. So.
I think, I don't want to say too much in case we ever cover it, but I enjoyed that movie a good deal too.
I liked it. I also watched the first episode of that Escape the Twin Flames docu-series on Netflix, and it seems fucked up. I hadn't finished it yet. So
the depths you've yet to plumb.
Let me plumb those depths. That is about it for me, though. Pretty light week.
Bobby got married.
I did that.
It's a very light week.
Very light. Yeah, nothing real big going on.
Didn't have to do anything.
Oh, man.
Full of energy, for sure. So that's it for what we've been watching. We got 2 voicemails. Let's go ahead and jump into our Hotline Screams segment real quick.
Hotline Screams.
If you are listening and would like to call and leave a voicemail, hit us up at 904-638-3231. 2 voicemails this week. First up, we're going to hear from the librarian. Let's hear what she's got to say.
Hello, gentlemen. One second, I'm pulling up my script. I have to write a script before I send these voicemails because otherwise I'll just ramble. Anyway, let's start this again. Hello, gentlemen. This is not a hotline kinks. This is a hotline thank you. I just wanted to give you guys a verbal hug because I've been having a shit day. Nothing's wrong, just your run-of-the-mill clinical depression. But I must say, for about an hour, I got a lot of laughs listening to your coverage of the people under the stairs. So, thank you. Yeah, that was it. Have a good one. Bye!
Yeah.
Was that audio okay?
Yeah, it was good.
Okay, it's coming in real soft. Go on.
Yeah, thanks for calling in. I'm glad we could give you at least a few chuckles here and there. I have heard 10 out of 10 doctors prescribe straight chilling.
Yes.
Yeah. Just in general.
10 out of 10.
Consult your physician.
When they say relax, that means straight chilling too.
We're a synonym for the word relax.
And relaxation. What they really mean is straight chilling.
That was a fun episode, though. I'm glad that one got you so good, and we enjoyed making it for sure.
Yeah, mostly, of course.
Mostly.
Well,
Well,
no, it was nice, especially coming off of that sickness I was coming off of, to have a couple laughs.
You were down with the sickness,
I
man.
know.
Gotcha! Nice callback, Randy. Hey, good job.
Hey, you're welcome.
You're really running these bumps, Randy.
Good job.
Thanks, guys. Man. Your support means the world to me.
Thanks for calling, librarian. Hope you're feeling better. Always good to hear from you. Next up, we're going to hear from Nicole. Let's hear what she's got to say.
Hello, fellas. Happy Thanksgiving. Nicole here. It has been a minute since I have called in to leave a voicemail. But you guys gave a prompt, and I'm not here for the BDSM prompt. Sorry to disappoint, SC After Dark, but I'm here to talk about something possibly more exciting, and that is the dressing stuffing debate. There are many, many ways, of course, to make a dressing or a stuffing. But I have kind of my own way that I've developed over the past couple of years, and that is you got to have a local loaf of bread from a local bakery, leave it out for 3-4 days, let it get real dry, chop it up. You've got to use turkey drippings in the crock pot with the local loaf of bread. You got to add your rosemary, your herbs. You got to have garlic in there. But really, to me, the two most important things are the local loaf of bread and the drippings from the turkey. If you've got those two things, salt, pepper, butter, you really can't go wrong. And I am a dressing on the side, not a stuffing in the bird fan. So would love to hear you guys weigh in. Do you prefer dressing? Do you prefer stuffing? And what do you think? Do you do cornbread, loaf of white bread, local bread? What say you? Hope you guys have a great holiday.
Nice recipe there.
Timeless debate, really.
Yeah, I agree. On the side.
Oh, yeah.
In
I
the
don't
bird is
think
like
I-
a recipe for salmonella, is my understanding.
Yeah.
So- or dry stuffing. So
I like on the side.
yeah,
Me
put it on the
too.
side. Yeah, that recipe sounds good to me. I'm pretty agnostic. I don't have like the firmest. I don't love
Grandma's, yeah.
Yeah,
It's just local home
Local
cooking.
grandma.
Yeah, local grandma cooking.
Just find a local grandma.
honestly like the pre-made stuff is just fine to me, but that sounds elevated and better. I just don't know if I have the patience for it. That's
Yeah.
the question. So
Yeah, I've never made stuffing myself, so I don't have like a cool recipe. I honestly think my mom typically uses a box kind
Yeah.
of situation, and I'm happy to eat the shit out of it. So.
yeah,
Mike?
I've never complained.
Both my grandmothers have their own recipe and definitely make it from scratch. I just don't know how. Maybe
Yeah.
I should learn this year.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the year.
This
you got to
is
take
the
that
year.
back to Korea with you.
You don't want it
Let's
too dry,
open a stuffing restaurant.
and I also don't like it when it's like too wet and it's like almost soupy.
Yeah, I don't
like
either.
so you gotta have
If it's
somewhere in the
soupy,
middle.
that's
That's the
bad,
thing
but
about-
it's got to be. I think moistness has got to be in there though
Moist,
for
yeah.
sure.
That's the thing about Thanksgiving plate building too, is you got to put all the stuff in the right place. This isn't a
structural
just
integrity is at risk here.
because some things, you don't want it to get wet, you don't want it to get soggy, you don't want it to bleed over. You got to do it just right.
I like to get, when you're building a bite, you get like a little
Build a
stuffing,
bite.
a little turkey,
Whoa.
a little cranberry, and a little gravy all in one forkful and just fucking
See,
hit it.
I'm more on that side
dude.
of things. Yeah, I slop that shit together. I don't care. It's all good
Y'all
together.
are insane.
What do you call a sandwich? Like, what are you doing? Like, you never eat a
Sandwich.
turkey? You never eat a leftover
We're
Sammy?
talking Thanksgiving dinner here, boys.
So you just eat
You're
turkey
a man
by
of
itself,
rigidity when it
stuffing
comes
by
to
itself.
holidays.
Well, no, with the turkey can blend. You can have a little cranberry with the turkey and stuff. But for instance, I don't want anything mixing up with my mac and cheese.
Well, yeah, that's kind of different.
Okay,
That's
that
kinda
one's.
different.
I don't want anything
but mac
mixing
and cheese
with
is
my.
not necessarily like that's
but
more
also
of a
sweet potato casserole. I don't want anything mixing with that.
I could mix with that.
Okay, I don't want to.
I think that there's some things that
Some things,
some things
yeah.
mix better than others. That's for sure.
Cranberry
But I'm not
can
too
mix
like.
with some things,
I
mostly
ain't-
like the turkey.
Mostly turkey,
I ain't trying to
yeah.
keep a bento box of fucking
Well,
Thanksgiving dinner though.
Yeah, I could do cranberry and sweet potato stuffing. Actually, that sounds nice. I'd be down with that.
I could do any number of combo, and the greatness of it is the mix and match, the trying, the seeing.
Figure out the perfect bite.
Everybody gets their own bite.
If
you know?
get a roll, you can just make a little turkey sando.
I like to do
Well,
that
yeah.
day of. Like
In
I
the
don't.
moment.
Given the choice, I would eat like a turkey, potato stuffing, gravy sandwich, and then have mac and cheese on the side, and that's my
Oh,
meal.
God,
that shit's
yes.
great.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
But my mom makes this thing. It's like a squash casserole, squash
Oh,
with a bunch
yeah.
of cheese. And
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
I love that so much.
I like squash casserole too. You got the green bean
Yeah.
casserole.
Oh, yeah.
You got sweet potato casseroles,
Yeah, the family
ambrosia.
Ambrosia salad.
you
As
have
I
not
mentioned
touched my
in-
ambrosia salad.
I got to find a
Edward
local grandma to
Scissorhands.
force feed it to me.
I know.
God damn.
Stay away from my grandma, Bob.
God, I won't.
Spoken for.
That's my ambrosia.
We don't ever have ambrosia salad at Thanksgiving.
Had it, but not
It's
not an every
It's not what we
year thing.
do. We broccoli salad sometimes.
Yeah, some of that can
Sometimes
go in
just
there.
regular salad. My mom does a 7-layer salad sometimes. That shit's fucking fire.
I don't know what that is.
It's just it's exactly what it sounds. It's a salad that's layered up with lettuce, and it's got the dressing and cheese and peas and carrots. And
Okay. Oh, I know the kind of thing you're talking about.
built up.
My mom always tends to make anyway. That's a strawberry walnut gorgonzola salad. With
yeah,
some
okay.
balsamic. That shit rules.
Man.
God damn, I'm hungry.
Yeah, I think that's the takeaway here is we're all very hungry.
Gracious. You got the pies, pumpkin pie. I know you love pumpkin pie, Randy.
Oh my God. My whole family forever will know that I love pumpkin pie.
This week, you can only reach for one pie. Which one you reaching for?
Dude.
Honestly, I haven't had... I say this as a huge pumpkin pie fan. I haven't had a sweet potato pie in years, and I know that's like a neck and neck race for the top. For
Really?
me. Yeah.
We usually have 3 pies. There's usually a pecan pie.
That's my favorite.
You got the pumpkin pie, and we usually have an apple as well.
Apple pies are also amazing, but I kind of like them. I like them to be the entirety of fall. I don't want to stick them right.
I feel like you
Thanksgiving.
can eat apple pie almost any time of the year, but
It's true.
you almost never get a pecan pie.
Or a
True.
sweet potato pie. for
Unless
that matter.
Thanksgiving, yeah.
Yeah, sweet potato's fine, but yeah, I guess it's not one we really have often. So.
It's just it's like a sweeter version of a pumpkin pie,
yeah.
and sometimes that's what I'm after.
hard to beat the pumpkin on Thanksgiving.
It
isn't
is
Some-
with the right cream, the Cool Whip.
Yeah.
Sometimes my mom makes this pumpkin roll. You guys know. It's
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
I'm aware of the pumpkin
fire.
roll.
Dude, I'm waiting for those peanut butter balls as well.
That's
For-
Christmas.
My mom will make hors d'oeuvres, including a pumpkin pie dip with ginger snap cookies that
You
got
shut the
really
Our
fucking
listeners
rules.
just gained 20 pounds listening to us.
Consult your physician, like I said.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Okay. Let's stop. Let's stop and go
Let's
get some food. Yeah.
Yeah, for real. Well, thanks for calling in, Nicole. Damn.
Yeah.
We sparked a
Forgot we
conversation.
were reacting to a call.
Oh, yeah, Nicole.
What are we doing? What
Nicole, thank you.
headphones? What am I doing
Happy
here?
holidays, Nicole. Enjoy your
Yeah.
stuffing.
Yeah, for sure. Prompts for next week. Call and let us know how your Thanksgiving went. Did you eat anything crazy? Anything wild happen? Did
Chime in on the
you eat human flesh?
eat one thing at a time or mix and
Or
match
mix and match,
debate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hit us up, 904-638-3231. Get stuffed this week. Hope you have a very happy, safe Thanksgiving weekend. If you're going to go Black Friday shopping, don't get trampled. Don't do it. Just don't.
Not even once.
Next week, coming back with a brand new review. As always, it's a Patreon pick this time. Brandon S. has chosen 2007's The Mist for us to discuss.
Whoa.
Nice.
Speaking of Nicole.
A feel-good family romp.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The
Horror
Mist.
comedy.
Horror comedy at its highest, for sure. Just a laugh riot. You'll love it.
Watch it with your family this
Watch it with
Thanksgiving.
all of your youngest cousins, kids, fucking sibling. 12 or under, specifically.
Only the fucking siblings.
I'm sorry.
Only
What?
watch it with them.
Yes.
They're a
Nobody wants to
special
keep up
breed.
with those.
Yes. Do that. You know, some families are just a little different. Gotcha. Yeah, watch The Mist. Get ready for next week's show. If you want to find us on social media, search Straight Chilling Podcast. We'll pop right up. If you want to join in on our daily Slack channel conversations, hit us up on one of the social media outlets, and I'll send you a link so you can join in on the fun. And until next week, as always, all you mother truckers, please keep chilling.
And much on some grinding.